Very good evening to all our viewers. Thank you again for joining us tonight on the evening review. My name is Theo van Gogh. Tonight on the show, we are graced by the presence of Dr. Rukesh Ngaite. He's a co-author of the book, The Times and Life of Vequiru Koro. It's co-authored with Vitura Kavari. And as we all know, Vequiru Koro, Advocate Vequiru Koro the late, was the paramount chief of Ovaherero until his untimely death 2 years ago due to COVID complications. Apart from being the paramount chief, he also served in many other capacities. I think Attorney General at some stage, Deputy Minister of Justice, CEO of MITCO, among other designations. Doc, thank you very much for your time. I think the first question is really why Vequiru Koro? There's been revered Ovaherero leaders, your Clemens Kapuos, your Hosea Kutakos, and even older leaders like Maharero, but somehow you and Vitura Kavari chose to chronicle the life of Vequiru Koro.
I knew that that was the question that was coming because
Yeah.
this is the question that I've been confronted with.
Yeah.
Why Kodongwidi, why Kirina, why all of them?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is what I keep telling people, and I'm glad that this is basically the very first question that I was prepared for.
Yeah.
And I knew that you were going to ask me that question.
Sure.
Biographies are basically about people of substance. That's one thing that you have to know.
Yeah.
So if Rukoro was one of those people of substance, you have got all the freedom and right to write about him. Mm-hmm. Biographies are about people of prominence, prominent in society, people that have achieved, people that can be controversial at times. And I think those are some of the qualities that I know him for.
Yeah.
Biographies are about proximity.
Yes.
To your locality, to the authors. So for instance, I cannot write a biography about Hitler or Gandhi or Asem Nujoma or even Gavirwe because I was never very close to them. I never knew them until we all came back from exile.
Yeah.
But Rukoro, in terms of proximity, I know him so well. We went together, we went to school together at Debra. We spent a lot of time together, slept under the same blanket, both in exile. And so this is somebody that I know. And also his record achieved for himself, that he can be at par with all the others in terms of his achievements. But I think I'm going to talk about his achievements perhaps when it comes to that question. But the one thing that I want to tell people that are asking me that question, biographies are not about good people, bad people, or ugly people. You know the concept of the good, the bad, and the ugly. So you can write about someone like Hitler. People write so many biographies about Hitler, but he was the ugly. People write so much about Mandela because they were good.
Yes.
And people are writing so much about Robert Mugabe because he was bad.
Yeah.
That's what they say. But when you look at some of the achievements of Robert Mugabe in terms of land reform, I think he has done so much that sometimes you tend to forget the good and focus on the bad.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm saying that to us, Rukoro could have been some of those things. Proximity, a man of substance, in my eyes.
Yes.
And that's why we decided to focus on him rather than focusing on Kodongwidi or some of those others. Proximity to me would be the most explanation, yes.
Okay. So substance, what substance would you say that Rukoro had? He was a very colorful man in so many ways.
Yes.
He never backed off from situations.
Exactly.
He was also a very controversial figure
Exactly.
in the eyes of others. But from your own vantage point, what do you think made him a man of substance?
There were a few things, and I can recall that, for instance, while at Debra, at the age of 19, he was appointed the president of the Namibia Black Student Organization, the predecessor to NANSO. And that was the time when things were very hot here. And you can ask people like Kameta were there, Shongarero, the late Shongarero, Martha Ford, Bins Havanas, Gashideko, Marco Hausiku, and many others. We convened the first student meetings at Martin Luther High School to form a black student organization.
Yeah.
And it was at that very same meeting that Rukoro was appointed president of the Namibian Black Student Organization, NAPSO. So that basically demonstrated that he was a leader from the beginning. Not only that, subsequent to that, he was appointed at the age of 20, the Secretary General of SWANU. As soon as VE came out from Robben Island, I don't want to talk so much about SWANU today because I want to focus on the life of Vekwi Rukoro, because I'm a SWANU man now. When I get to SWANU, then I forget all the other things and I'll start focusing on SWANU. So he was the first was the Secretary General of SWANU at the age of 19. Then he became the president of NNF, Namibia Nature Namibia Nature Front, which constituted many different political organizations and also social movements like churches and student bodies and all that stuff. He became president of that. And as a result of that, he was able to use that instrument to take him to the Constituent Assembly that wrote the last Namibian constitution. So he could be considered one of the founding fathers. And I don't want to talk too much about founding fathers because you know what I mean. And this is what he's saying sometimes on the sideways, that Comrade Sam Nujoma is the founding president of the Republic.
Yes.
But Hosea Kutako is the founding father of the Namibian nation. This is what he was trying to tell us in that book.
Yes.
But we have to debate with him that if you say that, what about the SWAPO comrades? Are they not going to get on our heads for saying that? But so these are some of the things that I'm saying. He was one of the founding fathers of the Republic.
Yes.
So much that we cannot simply say one man is a founding father of the Republic because irrespective of all the achievements that Sam has accomplished in terms of bringing us to freedom, and he did so much. So there are some of those little founding fathers of the Republic, of which Rukoro fortunately was one of them. The other thing is that he could be one of those people who tried to penetrate this entrenched white monopoly capitalism. Mind yourself moving from politics into the commercial world, becoming a CEO of FNB, an institution basically controlled by white monopoly capitalism, Sanlam, and of course Midco. Those are achievements.
Yes.
And then Herero Paramount C, that of course will come down to that.
Yes.
And then the other thing that people tend to deny is that he was given a state funeral. Which I will never be given. And we can bet. We can bet today, Toivo. Do you think that I will be given a state funeral?
Yeah, you will. Why not?
Can we bet?
Yeah, we can bet.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, okay. So, as a man of substance, where do you locate a man of substance in a political web like the one that the late Rukoro went through? He was a SWANU man. But later he became very flirtatious with Nudo, he flirted with SWAPO. Isn't a man of substance ought to be also consistent and upright and say, this is my political home, and instead of flip-flopping between political parties?
Moses Kashonga, one of those articulate politicians that we have seen in Namibia, would say that either your principle dictate, you can use your principle, turn your principle to become a strategy, or your strategy to become a principle.
Yeah.
These two can dovetail. Your principle today can become your strategy tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So Rukoro will look at things sometimes far beyond what we see.
Mm.
Some of us who were then comrades in SWANU as a political party.
Yeah.
He knew that there were so many constraints
Mm.
within the party itself that the party could not at that point grow.
Mm.
Most of us were old nationalists, some of us hardcore socialists and all those stuff. So maybe he could not fit his political ideas as a pragmatist. Someone who was a lawyer, someone as a pragmatic politician, someone who was an academic leader than an organic leader, because there are two different things. Between an organic leader is like that leadership is born in you. You know, people like Kapuo, Hosea Kutako, those were organic leaders. But people like Vekwi Rukoro would try and combine academic leadership with organic leadership. So I think the moment his academic leadership took off from where he grew up in terms of taking off from the organic leaders, it became very difficult for him to stay at home. So this is why he would tell me sometimes that I'm leaving this house, it is now the SWANU house, because the roof is leaking. Now I'm going to a new house called Swapo, but now I'm regretting because when I go to this new house, this house is burning. So now I'm having some problems understanding what my legacy would be. So those are some of the issues that he had to struggle
to navigate. Do you think that as a leader he had the ability to unite people? And when I'm talking about uniting people, I'm transcending beyond just over Herero, because he has served in positions that brought him very close to the ultimate positions, such as that of president or maybe prime minister. If he was ever to be elected to those positions or appointed to those positions, do you think he was a man that had the ability to unite all Namibians and not just over Herero people?
I think he had that ability, and I can assure you that from the day that I knew him from Debra, maybe I don't need to say this on public, but Vekwi would not date among the Hereros. He would date among the Kamaras, he would date among the Shwambo-speaking people, even his elder child, Shipanga, Agnes Shipanga, I think, yes, a former coach of the Gladiators. She's from, when Shwambo speaks, she's from Shipanga.
Which Shipanga is it? The footballer? Pale Shipanga, who?
No, the girl.
Oh, the lady.
Daughter,
Okay.
So that's his ability to traverse across other nationalities and mingle with them. Someone who was born in Ochuarongo. In Ochuarongo, you know, is one of the most racially mixed society where people can speak all the languages. So he could speak Damaranama, he could speak Ocherero, and a little bit of Shwambo speaking. So on that score, nationally, I think he had the ability to unite people. And I think also one of the things that I want to mention here is his ability to work with Imbu Wirap.
With what?
Imbu Wirap, who was his vice president in SWANU, who was a Damara, and that was one of his closest friends. So on that score, the ability was there to unite Namibians. But when it comes to the Herero-speaking communities, I sometimes laugh at myself as someone coming from that community when you hear that a single person would have divided the whole community to the extent that we cannot come together. This is what I keep saying. It's a complete lie.
Yeah.
It's a complete lie. Because when Rukoro assumed the paramountcy, we Herero-speaking, Bandero-speaking communities were divided across so many sections. So we cannot blame him for that. So, but even now when he's not here, why can't people then come together if he was the culprit of that division? So on that point, I'm very reluctant to provide my sincere opinion, but I can simply say that Rukoro was only a paramount chief for, I think, for 4 years or 3 years, I cannot even recall. Not for many years. So most of his life, most of his time and life was not spent on Herero matters, but it was spent on national issues, national liberation movement issues, social movement issues, social movement issues in terms of his being one of those people who started the Christian, the institution that led to the formation of CCN. And he also worked for CCN. So on that basis, he was more open to be part of the Namibian House, as our president would say. So I think it would have been a good purpose in terms of uniting Namibians across all sections.
Okay. Now, the other things that have really been said about Kwekwe Rukoro is whether he was power hungry. Of course, in other leadership positions that you mentioned, especially the corporate ones, I don't think you would become CEO of FMB just by waking up one morning and then you are CEO. I think there must have been merit that they saw in him, but his ascendancy to the paramount chieftaincy of Herero had caused a lot of consternation. People asking, this man was assistant to the late Riruako, the then paramount chief. Paramount chief dies. Then in the blink of an eye, really, Rukoro was in contention for that position and outmaneuvered everybody. Nobody, or maybe us who are from a bit distant from the Herero processes, but many of us didn't see it coming.
You see, the point that people don't understand is that Koima was cunning. He was not. He was very clever. Koima could maneuver things to go the way that he wants. And I think Koima, this is my view, Koima was able to detect that people within his own rank might have not created the type of atmosphere for continuity. So he started looking outside his own rank to groom other people, to bring them closer to the Herero communities. And as a result, I could say that indirectly or directly, Rukoro was groomed by him for that position. And that was not necessarily automatic that he was going to take over that position, but people started maneuvering each other for that position, and he's the one who came out, wrongly or rightly. But the funny thing now is, while he was leader of the Herero-speaking community, the paramount chief, people tended to hate him. So there was this love-hate relationship within his own ranks in respect to him. But now, the funny thing is that now, when he's off, when he died, everybody is now striving for that position. If that position was so bad that everybody said, no, I detest being a paramount chief of the Herero because of this division and all that, why is it now that everybody want to inherit this legacy? Because now people are fighting over who should inherit Rukoro's paramountcy. So this is why I'm saying that it's very difficult to understand the Herero process of ascendancy, because you have got instruments that are historically they're part of the ascendancy process of the Herero-speaking. You have got the Senate of the Herero-speaking communities, you have got the Chief Council, you have got NUTO as a political party there as well, and then you've got all these other commandos that also form part of the instrument that decide who should become leader. So if you go through them nicely, I don't know, you should be able to come out, and I think he was able to do that. And I don't think that he bribed anybody to arrive at that position. No, I don't think so. Because he was not the kind to bribe people.
Yeah. Now, your book was launched just a week ago, and with the launch came some controversies. His children, led by, I think, Nguvi Rukoro, issued a statement expressing unhappiness. I couldn't locate properly what the issues were. He doesn't seem to have a problem with the authors of the book.
Precisely, yes.
Yeah, he seems to have a problem with what he called the politicization of the launch. Dr. Hoderi Rocco came around, and I'm told the statement said that he was handed a mic to address the launch, and they walked out because they feel that it was opportunistic of him. Essentially, perhaps even saying that they do not recognize him as one of the claimants to the chieftaincy of Herero. What was the... did you as authors sought to use the launch as a political platform also for Hode?
First of all, let me say clearly that I would apologize to them for what took place on that day, because that wasn't intended. And I think for those who love Rukoro so much, who grew up with him, the children did precisely what Rukoro would have done, the way that I know him. Rukoro would express his opinion in any way that he wants, whether by walking out, whether by grabbing a microphone from someone and say all the things that he wants. So that was typical Rukoro. So I wouldn't blame them. No, I think also when they are saying that they did not have the copies of the book for them to read, that's my apology too.
Yeah.
Because I cannot recall us really giving them even a single copy for them to read. So that was something that I would also apologize for. But this project is about Vekwi.
Yeah.
It's not about Hode, it's not about all these other political leaders of the Hereros and all that stuff. No, it's not about those. It's about Vekwi. And for us, the idea is to make sure that his legacy, history remains.
Yeah.
It's cast in stone. It's cast in stone. Because for people start interfering with a project that has got nothing to do with money making, I don't think we are going to make money out of this project, because Namibians basically don't read books. But we really, with this book, wanted to pay tribute to what he has done to this country, so that history is not, or even the narrative that defines history today is not one-sided, that there were only those who contributed to the struggle against others. So that's the idea. So the issue of Hode, I don't want to touch on that, because it would mean that I'm now going to indulge into the conflict or divisions that are going on within the Herero communities. But I can attest to you that everybody was invited.
Okay.
All the chiefs were invited, not to speak, but to attend, because we had a panel discussion.
Okay.
So the panel discussion consisted of those people that spoke, but unfortunately that had to happen, that basically aggravated his children. But for that, I have to apologize, and I'll make sure that, because currently the books are not with us.
Yeah.
The books are still with the production.
And that is the point, because we have 30 seconds left. I just wanted you to maybe tell our viewers where the book can be found, or when can it be found, at what cost, just quickly, to run out, to wrap up.
Currently, the book can be found at Typo Print in Ospannplatz. You can go Google the number there. You can talk to a lady called Naomi. I think she would be able to tell you. The books are there. Okay. So for those who want to buy, they can go and buy the book there. Okay. The book is $300. But with this money, we are still saving the credit, because the book was printed on credit.
Yes.
We didn't have enough money to pay all the production costs. So, Typo Print was good enough to give us, put a huge deposit, but then it was given up to us on credit. So it's like what we are selling now is going straight to them, and this is why we have even decided that it is better that people buy directly from Typo Print, so that it can service that credit that we have with them.
Wonderful. Dr. Rukesh Ngaite, thank you very much for your time. I think let's keep the conversation going as time goes, but thank you for popping in today. Thank you, Doctor. So that is Dr. Yes.
No, I'm happy that this was a conversation. I thought that you were going to crucify me.
No.
As you have crucified so many people that I've seen. So I think I'm glad that it was basically a conversation, I think. Thank you also for that.
Thank you, Doctor. That's Dr. Rukesh Ngaite. He and Vitura Kavari wrote this book, The Times and Life of the Kwirikoro. It can be found at Typo Printing at Ospannplatz. Thank you for watching.